Hey guys, so today's another kind of update video on the SRT division and what's really going on with them. Now we have a bit more of a clearer picture and an interview with the head of the Dodge brand, Tim Kuniskis, so I thought it would be a good time to update you guys. So first we'll go over the rumors that started about the SRT division being dismantled in February, then we'll move along to those rumors being addressed, and finally we'll spend most of the time talking about what SRT is really up to. Also, if you want to learn more about SRT with a full history video to get you up to date on the brand, make sure to click the link in the top right corner. Now, let's begin. So this all began in early February 2021, where there were reports that the SRT division was dismantled and scattered across Stellantis, not even 1 month after the official completion of the merger. An anonymous Stellantis spokeswoman issued a statement that you can see on screen, basically talking about how the core elements of the SRT performance engineering team would be integrated into Stellantis' global engineering organization. So many people took this to mean that the SRT engineers would now be mixed with performance engineers from the PSA side of Stellantis, and both teams will be able to work on high-performance projects across all brands in the Stellantis portfolio. Many people were not happy that the SRT division was being disbanded, and they weren't sure of what to think next. After those initial rumors, about a week later on February 17th of 2021, website The Drive was able to talk to a Stellantis spokesperson who said that SRT is not going anywhere and that the same employees are basically doing the same jobs. This still left many questions and confusion as to where the initial reports came from and which reports to believe, but it also left many concerns about how SRT was going to be used going forward. What I had originally thought was that the engineers on the SRT team now have to listen to the heads of the company and give their time and resources to all brands and not just Dodge and Jeep as they had in the past. The employees may also be distributed around the world or in different divisions so they cannot put their assets and knowledge together like they previously could. I also thought they might be asked to make SRT-like performance vehicles for the other brands instead of constantly improving on the current Dodge and Jeep vehicles. So that's all kind of what I had interpreted with the first quotes about the engineering team being integrated. However, after those rumors were kind of quashed, it did look like this was a basically new restructuring and organization within Stellantis, but the SRT engineers will report to different people and spread their expertise across the company. However, again, it still left many questions that we really don't exactly know how or if this will affect things going forward. But despite all of this, SRT death rumors still continued, and now we've got some new information, an interview with Tim Kuniskis, as car website Autoweek has reached out to him to provide some clarity on the situation. Tim Kuniskis is of course the current Chief Executive Officer of Dodge, and if you do want to read the full Autoweek article, I will put the link in the description. So now we can go over what he said, and he did make things a little bit more clear regarding the SRT brand. So at first he talked about how watching the news gives you a different story on every channel, and he made it clear that you shouldn't be hearing too much from the SRT division, as they are simply an important engineering group within Stellantis, and not a media or communications outlet. However, he did say that the SRT engineers are no longer in the same office or division, so as we kind of suspected, this was some type of restructuring move within the company. But this doesn't mean that SRT was suddenly over. He said, quote, "We took this core group of people that were sitting in one building, where guys were working on TRX in one area, and Rubicon 392 in another area, and Chargers and Challengers in another area, and we sent the TRX group to work with the Ram engineers, the Rubicon 392 group to work with the Wrangler engineers, and so on." People looked at that change and said, SRT is being disbanded. Absolutely not. It's the opposite. It's the right thing to do for the performance because SRT today is a sub-brand within Dodge. The highest trims are SRTs. It goes from base and rises to SRT. The highest performance of any of our lineups are SRTs, end quote. He also emphasized that the team had not been made smaller, so it doesn't look like any jobs were cut there at the moment. So from these comments, to me it does look like at first there was a room or building of SRT engineers who worked on different projects in the same place. And now that group of people has seemingly been given different assignments and spread to Ram, Jeep, etc. So technically the SRT team is just kind of being sprinkled throughout Stellantis, and how far they extend remains to be seen. Right now we've got Dodge, Ram, and Jeep SRT vehicles, but that could go further into the other merged brands as well. Either way, the same people are still working for the company, just not in the same office, as he said. Kuniskis then went on to explain the importance of the base cars of each vehicle, like for example V6 powered Charger and Challengers, saying, quote, "None of those cars can exist without the base car team, because you don't have the economies of scale of the base car. There would never be a Hellcat without a V6 powered Challenger and Charger. You have to have the base engineering paid for with the volume cars, and then you can have the performance sub-brand that takes the car and modifies it." End quote. So that gives some insight, albeit pretty obvious, into how these specialty performance vehicles come about, and the importance of the base models despite some of the hate that those vehicles get from the Mopar community. That did leave a few questions though. What about the future of SRT and possible electrification? Kuniskis used the business buzzword synergy to describe building the SRT vehicles from the base models. Of course, using that slate and then adding the big engines and visual upgrades produces a combined effect that's greater than the sum of their separate effects, allowing for tons of profit and, as he said, synergy. After that, he talked about the future, saying, quote, "I can't give you a date, but I can tell you the future is coming faster than we could have guessed 24 months ago, and the shift to electrification is coming like a tidal wave." End quote. There will always be skeptics of electric vehicles, especially if they threaten to take over or replace beloved favorites of many, such as the Hemi-powered muscle cars, but Kuniskis said that he sees electrification as a great thing for SRT, and that it will, quote, "enable more performance than we've ever seen before, ever. We'll be able to take the technologies that we know today and bolster them with electrification, and in some cases, full battery power." End quote. So how does this really connect back to SRT? Well, Kuniskis explained that unlike today, where SRT modifies the base cars, that wouldn't really work in an all-electric vehicle world. Quote, "With the electrification, it would be very, very difficult to do an SRT version after the fact, because of constraints with things like a fixed battery pack size and shape, kilowatts per hour, the battery chemistry, and center of gravity. The inherent challenges will have to be addressed from day one." End quote. So by breaking up the SRT team and putting those engineers with each of the brands, the specialty guys can work with the base vehicle engineers from the start, as they begin to develop and work on this electric technology. So this keeps the same synergy we see today, just in a different layout. So it's quite the opposite of what many people thought. SRT is being somewhat disbanded, but not dismantled in any way, and this seems to be a necessary step going forward, making SRT engineers even more important as they are extremely interconnected with the base car teams as they are developing the new technology from day one, from the start. What kind of performance that is exactly remains to be seen, but we do know it's going to be electric in the future. However, that does mean all the SRT guys are not in the same room anymore as they were before, and it also begs the question of whether SRT will extend to the other brands within Stellantis. There are 14 of them, and not just the current brands that they have vehicles from, Ram, Dodge, and Jeep. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Does this provide any relief on what you thought about the SRT brand, or does it add to your skepticism? Let me know. And thanks for watching, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.